consists of. Their number one priority is taking care of business. And what that means is advising and registration. Number one, if they are not registered for classes, they are being directed to the Student Support Services building, which is immediately when you walk outside of the Union to the left. On the second floor, we have a very methodical process to get the students in and registered, okay? That is critical. I can't stress that enough at this stage in the game. Classes start, they're running out. Your student needs to get registered, okay? So that's important. Doing any financial aid visits or the registrar visits, anything in the Student Support Services building is going to be open and ready for you. There's also going to be some tables in the lobby of the Student Support Services building who will be interested in giving you some more information. Ticketing from athletics will be there, Student Alumni Association if your student signed up to join that, and some other opportunities will be ready for you there, okay? That is number one priority. Then your student, once they're done, and I want to stress, once they're done, they can head over to the Academic Success Conference. That basically registration is going to be around 1:30 for that. Keynote starts at 2 o'clock. So don't let them get really freaked out about needing to get back over, because that's been stressed as mandatory. It is a requirement that they attend, but there's enough time for them to get everything done, okay? Another big piece may be food. If they wanted to grab a bite quickly, we want them to make sure to eat because the Academic Success Conference goes until 5 o'clock. Okay? I see a question, yes. It's 1:30 for registration. I mean, they're gonna start lining people up to register at 12:30 because they're registering 2,500 students for the Academic Success Conference, but 12:30 to 1:30 is registration, 2-ish is when the keynote will start. Okay? Those of you going to Family Success Conference, you will see me, you will see Steve, and some of our other team members on the Live Oak patio to register you and check you in for that at 1:30. Yes? They're gonna come into the Student Union. They'll be directed. There'll be tons of staff out in the lobby to get them in. Yes? Yep. So the question is, the students seem to be completely booked this weekend for How to FAU. So if you want to see the exact schedule to know where the windows might be, because there definitely are windows that you can make that happen, you can go to fau.edu/orientation, and then under orientations, How to FAU, and you'll see the full detailed schedule. So today, I would say, you've got time with them now, a couple hours to take care of business, as I mentioned, maybe do some wrap up with them over lunch, and then get them over to Academic Success, which they'll be in until 5. Okay, so after 5 might be an opportunity for you to touch base with them today, or tomorrow they have Leaders Get Jobs. It's in the morning, it's a bit earlier than we did it last year, so you've got a good chunk of the day tomorrow, later afternoon, to do some conversations as well, and your goodbyes, okay? And Sunday, you've got time on Sunday as well. Sunday convocation is the biggest piece. They'll be in here, they'll get some chords. It's a really nice experience for the students. That is from 12:31, they're done by 2, they go to an involvement fair, which is basically from 1 to 2:30, and then they're done for the day. Yep. And again, the whole schedule is online, because I know it's a lot. So check that out if you wanted to see exactly what they're doing. Okay? So, right now, they're going to be out of their parliaments and moving to take care of business. So based on what they needed to do, they'll be directed to the Student Support Services building. So one last piece from Steve, and I want to invite Marcia up.
And how about a big hand for Katie for her leadership this year? This has been really wonderful. As I mentioned yesterday, we're going to stay behind. Marcia from advising is joining us here. We'll stay behind, answer your questions. We'll take you where you need to go. Give yourself a big hand for hanging with us for the last day and a half. And I've got one more item of business, and I'm going to ask Corey to do it. We need a motion to adjourn. So moved, seconded, all in favor? We're adjourned.
that we trust this to work.
We trust this through. Okay. What, the lapel mic?
The lapel mic. They were asking about trying to get it tested on someone else.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing right now. A little bit of EQ. 1, 2. Hey, hey. Okay. Yeah, it's good. I just have it muted up here. I didn't know you wanted to say anything.
Hello.
Yeah.
So are you hanging on to that during house?
What?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I'll pass it on.
So you need to speak while people are coming in?
Yes.
Okay. Just making sure. Thank you, House Open.
Okay.
All right.
Which number do you all have right here? One. Where's two? The whole middle? Like this whole entire thing? What's track two? What? Oh, get career ready. Okay. Hello. Okay, it travels. How far does this travel? Okay, thank you. Hello. Can you ask them if they can put like low music on at least? Because there's nothing. Hello and welcome. If you are just joining us, make sure you sit in your designated track area. If you are not sure which track area you are, it is located on your ticket for today's event. Hello and welcome to the Academic Success Conference. As you make your way into the auditorium, please make sure you are sitting in your designated track area. As you are coming in, please make your way into the auditorium. Your track number is written on your Eventbrite ticket. The peer coaches located around the room are holding up your track numbers. Please make sure you sit in your designated area. If you are in track 2, find a seat anywhere on the floor. All other tracks are located around the Barry K Auditorium. just entered the auditorium, please make your way inside and you can look up your track number on your Eventbrite ticket. All other tracks are located around the Barry K Auditorium, so please look at the peer coaches holding up the numbers. If you are just walking into the auditorium, please make your way inside. You can pull up your designated track number if you're not sure what it is on your Eventbrite ticket.
Who put this shit together?
Hello and welcome to the Academic Success Conference. If you're just making your way inside, please pull up your Eventbrite ticket. Your track number is written on your Eventbrite ticket. If you are track 2, you can sit anywhere on the floor. All other tracks are located around the auditorium. Already found your seat. If you have not yet done so, please download the Owl Guides app. That will show you your How to FAU calendar for the entire weekend. Hello and welcome. Please pull up your Eventbrite ticket and make sure you sit in your designated track. The peer coaches located around the auditorium are holding up your track number. Track 2, you can sit anywhere on the floor. All other tracks, please look around the auditorium. Hello and welcome to the Academic Success Conference. If you are making your way inside, please come all the way in the doors to allow everyone the chance to get inside. Once you are inside, you can pull up your Eventbrite ticket. So if you are standing right next to the doors, please come into the rows to pull up your ticket so you're not blocking the entrance into the auditorium. Your track number is located on your Eventbrite ticket. All track 2 participants can sit anywhere on the floor. All other tracks are located around the auditorium. Please look at the coaches holding up the numbered signs. Welcome to the Academic Success Conference. As you make your way inside, please pull up your Eventbrite ticket. You will sit in your designated track area. Track 2, find a seat anywhere on the floor. All other tracks are located around the auditorium. If you are sitting in your correct track and you have not yet downloaded the Owl Guides app, please be sure to do so. You can find your How to FAU schedule for the entire weekend under the new student orientation track. If you are just coming into the auditorium, please make your way all the way inside. Once inside, pull up your Eventbrite ticket. This will give you your designated track number. The peer coaches located around the room are holding up the number. Please make sure you sit with your designated track number. And once you are inside, make sure you download the Owl Guides app, and you can follow along for How to FAU weekend once you download the new student orientation guide. If you are standing at the doors, please make your way all the way inside. Once inside, pull up your Eventbrite ticket. That will help you find your designated track number. Track 2, anywhere on the floor. All other tracks are located around the auditorium. Yes, the middle section is making friends. Upper sections, I need to see some more chatting. If I don't see you all moving, I'll make you get up on the mic with me. Let's make this as easy as possible. If you're just joining us, please make your way all the way inside. Welcome to the Academic Success Conference. You will sit in your designated number held up by our lovely peer coaches. If you're not sure what that track number is or what I am talking about, pull up your Eventbrite Pass. Track 2 or any tracks that are not written on the ticket, sit anywhere on the floor. All other tracks are located around the auditorium.
Said, I hope you got my note.
If you are just joining us, make your way all the way into the auditorium. Once you get inside, please pull up your Eventbrite ticket. That will help you find your track number held up around the room. Track 2, find a spot anywhere on the floor. All other tracks are located around the auditorium, so please look for the large numbered signs. If your Eventbrite ticket does not have a track number, please find a seat on the floor in track 2. As you come in, make your way all the way towards the middle of the row to allow others to fill in the available space. Make a friend. Welcome to FAU. If you have any questions about what's happening this weekend, make sure you download the Owl Guides app. That will allow you the opportunity to see the entire How To FAU schedule. As we still have plenty of students entering the auditorium, please make sure you make your way all the way into the row to allow everyone to fill in the available space. If you don't know the person sitting next to you, go ahead and make a friend. If you don't want to stand up and make a friend, we can do it on the microphone. So please make sure you do it all the way, move in all the way into the row. See you looking at it? All right, hello and welcome. Please make your way inside and pull up your track number on your ticket, your Eventbrite ticket. All right, hello and welcome. Please make your way all the way inside the auditorium. Once you're inside, please pull up your Eventbrite pass. Only participants in track 2 should be sitting on the floor. All other tracks, you need to sit with your designated number held up on the large boards around the auditorium. If you look at your Eventbrite ticket and it has either track 2 or no designated number, you can sit on the floor. Please make your way all the way inside the row to allow everyone the chance to fill in the space. Track 3 is getting dismissed last today. Track 1. All right, as you make your way into the Barry K Auditorium, please make sure you pull up your Eventbrite ticket. You will need to sit in your designated track area. If you're not sure what that is, if it's listed as track 2, you are located anywhere on the floor. If it doesn't have a number, find a seat anywhere on the floor. All other tracks are located around the auditorium. right. I need everyone, if you are sitting on the end of a row, to stand up and move to the middle of your row. Move all the way into the middle of your row. If you do it now, it will be a much easier process than trying to do it later. Thank you. All right, if you're making your way in, find a seat in the auditorium. If you're still sitting on the end of a row, someone will be coming around to push you into the middle of the row. So please make sure you get up and do it now. You're sitting in the auditorium and you see your friends hanging out by the doors, encourage them to come all the way inside and find a seat. If you are making your way in, welcome to the Academic Success Conference. Please come all the way inside and find a seat. There's some open space still on the floor. There's plenty of open space up in the upper deck, so come on in and find a seat. You are just joining us. We currently have track 1 being our most spirited, so I'll go ahead and start it again. Track 1, make some noise. All right, where's track 2?
Yeah,
Track 3?
I'm upset.
Track 3, we're gonna wake you up by the end of this weekend. Track 4. All right, if If you're just making your way inside, we are going to get started in just a little bit. However, we need everyone to find a seat. So if you are just hanging out at the doors, please make your way all the way inside and find any available seat. If you're standing in the rows, if there is an aisle next to you for you to go up, go ahead and go up and find a seat.
Jump up.
Just sitting there and not really talking to anyone. Go ahead and make a friend sitting next to you because you all are the new class at Florida Atlantic University.
Hey me now.
All right, if you are just coming in, please come all the way down to the first few rows. There's also some available seating to my left in the upper decks. Welcome to the Academic Success Conference. If you are still making your way inside, please come all the way down to the front. There's plenty of seating up here and to my left-hand side in the upper deck. If you have not yet, please make sure you download your OWL guide if you have any questions about the weekend. That guide will help map out your entire weekend of How to FAU. Plenty of seating in the front and to my left-hand side. If you're just making your way in, go ahead and turn. Come down the middle rows. You do not need to wait on this side. If you are just making your way inside, please come all the way down to the front couple rows. There is some seating in the front rows and to my left-hand side in the upper area. If you are waiting in this line on the left, you can come on in towards the middle and make your way down. Thank you to those of you that have been waiting for a little while. We're going to get started in just a little bit. In the meantime, hey, track 1, can you make some noise? Yes. Track 2? Track 2, I'm losing you. Track 2, make some noise. Thank you. Tracks 3 and 4, make some noise. Tracks 1 through 6, make some noise. We're gonna get started in just a few minutes. Easter weekend of How to FAU. Make sure you choose the new student orientation program. All right, if you are just now making your way inside, please come all the way down and fill in the available space in the front. Your first planner, setting you up for academic success. I'm almost done, I swear. I'm almost done.
It's fucking Treyway, King New York, looking for the queen.
You got the right one. Let these big bitches know, nigga. Queens.
If you have not yet, make sure you look up that How to FAU schedule. We have events happening all weekend long. Tomorrow, I will see you back again for Leaders Get Jobs. Make some noise if you are coming to Leaders Get Jobs tomorrow. And fun fact, we are actually live streaming in the back of this room. In the back of the auditorium, you are being live streamed. We have our families here for the Family Success Conference.
He tryna 69 like Takashi Koala.
And we will get started in just a little bit with our keynote speaker and then dismiss you all for tracks more towards the afternoon. Again, if there's a Dejanay Grant in this room, if you could please make your way towards me. official welcome to the Academic Success Conference. Make some noise in here. Oh, I'm losing everyone right now. Make some noise. We're getting started right now. Make some noise. All right, before we go ahead and begin, if you need access to closed captioning for this event, for today's event, please download the mobile app. This link up here will take you to the closed captioning on your mobile devices. So please use the link that is on the screen if you need access to that for this event. All right, and we are going to get started with our first speaker of today's Academic Success Conference. Please give a warm welcome to Chief Bramer.
Put 'em up on it, dímelo, papi, papi, yo quiero slappy, slappy.
Y'all can do better than that. Come on, put your hands together.
Like papi.
Hold on. We got to do a selfie. Y'all ready? Come on. I can't do it right, but get them eyes up. Come on. All right, I'll follow you. If you follow me on Twitter or Facebook or Instagram, I have it up. Come on, welcome to FAU. Put your hands together to all the owls. Come on. Hold on for a second. Is that how you're going to cheer us at the football games? We're number 25 in the country according to Sports Illustrated, and that's how you're cheering? Come on. Let me hear you make some noise. All right. And this is not a costume. This is actually a uniform. So yes, I am the Popo. All right. First business, Sarah Hill. Are you here, Miss Sarah Hill? Sarah, come up front. I have something for you, Sarah. Miss Dejanay Grant. Dejanay. That's okay, Sarah. You're welcome. I won't tell everybody you lost your owl card. Dejanay. All right, good. Well, welcome to FAU. Here's the deal. I want you to enjoy your time here at FAU. The next 4 years, this semester is going to probably be the best time you'll ever have. You're away from home. You're away from your parents, those of you that are staying on campus. But there are a few things I want you to pay attention to. We have a great list of people that are going to come and talk after I do. But I want you to understand something. Our experience here, what I want you to experience as FAU students coming to FAU for the first time, what I want you to experience is I want you to have a good time, but I want you to do it responsibly. I'm here to protect you. I've been in law enforcement 22 years. My first 10 years was punitive. The last 12 years of my life being here at FAU have probably been the best years of my life, because instead of putting a handcuff on somebody's life, we're able to put a handprint. Policing is not about the police department just protecting you. It's about a partnership. We want to partner with you. Crime prevention is about partnership. You tell me what you see and we'll respond and take care of it. I know your parents are streaming and they're watching live, but I want to tell you something. My number one commitment to this university and to you and to the parents that are watching is that we're going to protect you and do whatever we can to protect you. I know it's alarming when you look around the country and you hear about active shooter and you hear about active threats and you hear about all these different things. We have several tools in place. Many things that you'll hear a lot about when my partner comes up. And she's going to talk about a lot of the things that you have. We have safety apps that we're going to deploy, that we want you to download so that you can have those things ready at your hand. No incident should reach Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, CNN, YouTube before the police department gets it. We want you to be safe. We want you to be responsible. Okay? And we're going to do what we can to protect you for the next 4 years or 6 years if you decide to do your master's here, or if you want to become a doctor and you stay here for our doctoral program. All right? You're going to have a great time here. All my officers, you know, you probably met Old School. He did the original orientation. He leads our administrative side of the police department. And all of our officers, we're dedicated to your safety. But I want you to understand this. You've got to be responsible. Don't let people into your dorms that you don't know. Don't prop your doors open. Don't take drinks from people that you don't know. All right? I know you want to party and you're going to go to parties and you're going to have all these different things. But do not take anything from anyone that you do not know. Don't drive with Boo Boo, Kiki, Wee Wee, and all them names. So when we come and we ask you, what's his name? Oh, they call him Trey. But what's his name? Trey? No, we can't find a Trey. So if you're going out with somebody, you need to know who he is, right? And guys, don't give the young ladies, I know you're going to fall in love and you're going to trip over head over heels because she's so gorgeous. Don't give her your passwords because she will drop your class when you break up with her. It's happened, okay? He's about to fall out the chair, but it's true. All right? But we want you to be safe and we want you to be protected. And I will do everything I can to ensure that that is actualized. Y'all probably heard about an evacuation we had last week. Don't worry about it. It's okay. All right? Don't worry about it. It's okay. Don't worry about it. It's okay. I will always make the decision in the best interest of your safety. And that's what we're here. And that's what we want to do, is to ensure that you're safe and that you're protected. All right? Everybody else. Now I'm going to introduce to you someone who I call my partner. We work close together. I think we talk more than anybody else in the university. We collaborate, we email, we text, sometimes in the middle of the night, just to talk about stuff that is on her mind. We meet bi-weekly. We used to meet weekly. She is the Director of Emergency Management, Ms. Charlene Suku, and she is going to come and talk to you about just being prepared. And I want you to really pay attention because we have some safety apps. Do you know that we can actually, if you want, ladies, you're leaving classes late at night, right? And you just want your big brother to protect you. If you download the app and you just hit the FAU mobile blue light and you stick it in your pocket, you start walking, our dispatchers are able to see where you are. And if something happens to you, we can find you. And these are key things that I want you to be prepared. I want you to do it. We can't see you, we can't watch you unless you open the app, okay? So don't think we're like, what you see on Mission Impossible, where if I put this on my app, they're gonna track me. No, we can't track you, okay? All right? Welcome and have fun. Ms. Charlene Suku, Director of Emergency Management.
Welcome, new owls. Can I get a hoot? Can I get a hoot? One more time. All right, how many of you attended new student orientations this summer? So you should remember me. If you don't remember me, it's okay. I'll remind you. How many resident students we have in the house who'll be living on campus with us? Come on. Commuters. Out-of-state students. International students. All right. So, you heard from Chief Bremer. We want you to be owl ready. We want you to be prepared. We want you to be safe. Now, owl ready, I'm going to reiterate this for those who attended the new student orientations. Owl ready is the new initiative, the new campaign that we've launched. What's the urban definition of insanity again? Doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results, right? Well, here at FAU, we're not insane, okay? We realize, and again, I'm going to say this because I need to stress it, that we are not starting any conversations. We are continuing the ones that have already been started in high school, in middle school, in elementary. You've already done the drills. Some of you have already experienced tragedy. So we are not starting anything new. We are here to make sure that you are all ready and you understand what that means now that you are part of our community. How many of you have downloaded the Owl Ready app? I want all of you who have not to get out your phones right now. Get them out. And I want you to download the Owl Ready app. Why? Because you have easy access to emergency contacts. You can dial them directly from the app. You can turn your phone into a mobile blue light. How many of you have seen the blue lights on campus? They're the yellow poles with the blue lights on them. You can activate this feature to notify university police of your need or your distress. There are emergency guides for many situations, the what to do's. What do I do in this situation? For severe weather, for hurricanes, for physical and psychological threats. Active Shooter, there is a video within the app, within that physical, psychological threat, under Active Shooter for run, hide, fight. You want to take a look at that. Chief Bramer was talking about the friend walk or virtual walk home, where you can activate it and choose a trusted friend or FAU PD to track your progress from point A to point B. None of these features, once you activate these features, that's when we start tracking you, as Chief Bramer said. We don't track you otherwise, okay? Language translation and see something. See something? Many ways, from silent witness, in-app, chat directly with university police, report a safety issue, etc. Download the app. What does it mean to be all ready? You need to have a plan. I called out resident students, I called out commuter students, out of state, international. I did that for a reason. Each one of you needs to have your tailored plan. Know what to do, when to do it, where to get information, how to communicate with whom, when, where, have emergency kits, pay. You weren't even paying attention to the pay attention? Pay. Can you see something? All right. Here's where I want you to pay attention. If there is an emergency that requires you to take temporary protective actions, these are the actions that you might have to take. You might have to evacuate. You might have to shelter in place, or you might have to do something else. How many of you, when you walked into this room, you actively looked around to see where the exits were? What happened to the rest of you? You are new to this campus. You're going to be new to the classrooms, to the buildings, to the grounds. You need to pay attention. I don't want to see people walking with their earbuds in their ears, walking into golf carts, falling and tripping over themselves, etc. We see that a lot. All right? You always need to be aware of your surroundings. When you're in a classroom or you're in a building, pay attention to your exits. Know at least two. So if you can't use one, you can at least use the other. Where do you need to go? You might be directed to go to a particular area to assemble, right? We have those in place already. Follow the instructions of your professor, of FAU staff and employees. When do you evacuate or when do you run? When there is a dangerous situation that could possibly threaten life safety. That's what you need to know. I want to skip over and go to the other. Because as you can see, there's evacuate, shelter in place, and then other. How many of you have heard of run, hide, fight? So run, hide, fight is the directives from the Department of Homeland Security as to what you do when there is an active threat. Somebody with a knife, somebody with a gun, somebody with any kind of weapon that they have. Evacuate's your run. Shelter in place is your hide. Other is your fight. Some other actions. We'll want you to check in. Are you safe? Are you well? We want to make sure that we can account for you. Because if we can't account for you, you're missing. And if you're missing, we need to search and possibly rescue you. We will need to notify your next of kin. Always keep your emergency contacts up to date within Banner, so we have that information readily available. Some other things, you can follow emergency instructions. You should follow emergency instructions. If you know information regarding other people who need rescue, they're in the stairwells, they've fallen, they cannot leave or evacuate the building, we want you to pay attention and say, I know there were 2 people in the stairwell. I know that there was someone in this classroom that could not evacuate. And we want you to also, if it is possible, always ask, but you can also assist others to safety. But always ask first, what is the best way to assist you so that I don't further injure you? Are we clear on some other actions you can take? All right. And here we have fight. Fight is not just overcoming the assailant with blows. Pick up anything, use anything, any items can be used as a weapon. And a lot of times, your phone. Especially if it's in a really good case. But pick up anything and everything. It's not about engaging the assailant. It's about distracting them enough so that you can run. And when you can run, run. And if you cannot run, you hide. So here's the hide. Now I want to show you, you're going to see 3 floor plans. 3 scenarios, 1 floor plan, and what it looks like to shelter or secure in place. How many of you are signed up for FAU Alert, for the email, text messaging, and phone call portions of it? Because this is the kind of language that you'll see. You'll see what's happening, where it's happening, and what actions to take. And you might, that very message might be shelter in place. So what does shelter in place mean? Well, if the emergency is happening on campus grounds, but not in your building, not in the vicinity of it, you might be able to stay within the building. All right, you might still be able to continue classes depending on what the situation might be. As opposed to severe weather, lightning and tornadoes, where we want you to get into those interior rooms or at least away from the windows. As opposed to hostile intruder, active threat. Right? Your classrooms, the doors can be locked. If there is, do not use, if you happen to be in the restroom, try your best to get out and find somewhere else. If you can't, it really is dependent on the emergency and where it's occurring. But if you can get out of the restroom or you move past it, do not use restrooms because they're not easily barricaded, the doors cannot be locked, and it's very easy to tell whether someone is in the bathroom. This is actually from Ohio State University, and what it looked like. On your right is what was happening outside the emergency. On your left is what they were doing in the classrooms. Do you see all the chairs stacked up against the door? they barricaded themselves in, right? If you have classroom doors that have glass inserts, like I said, you need to pay attention. Glass means visibility. You need to consider line of sight. If you can see that glass insert, anybody else on the outside can see you. Again, barricades, movable furniture, and then take into consideration with your professor, with the FAU employees that are with you, if we need to run, how do we get out? What's my new route of escape? These are, like I said, these are difficult topics, but they are necessary because we are not starting any conversations here. If you find yourself outdoors, try to get indoors, but that might not be possible depending on the emergency. If it is an active threat, police will pull every single building onto card access. And what that means, in the big scheme of things, I don't like to use the word, but I know that it makes sense to the general population, the buildings will go on lockdown. If you find yourself outside and you cannot get into a building, you have to understand that you will need to be able to hide or secure in place outdoors. So you're looking for any kind of large items, bushes. I see people laughing. This is no laughing matter. These are the realities that we find ourselves in today. And I'll tell you, what I'm teaching you here, you need to take out into your general lives because the majority of these incidents don't happen on university campuses. They happen in your movie theaters, grocery stores, etc. We're going to talk about tornadoes and lightning, and why? Because we're the #1, Florida is the lightning capital of the United States. All right? If you are in a vehicle or outdoors and you can't avoid it or get indoors, you need to go to the lowest spot. No open spaces, not under trees. How many of you know the 30-30 rule for lightning? 30 seconds, 30 minutes. From the time you see that lightning strike to the time you hear the thunder, if it's within 30 seconds, it's too close. When I was in college, I saw the lightning strike. And then about 10 minutes later, we heard that a student had just come out of class. He was walking to his car. He was just about to step from the pavement onto the road, and he was struck. 30 minutes after the storm has passed, wait 30 minutes before you step outside. A lot of people don't know the majority of lightning occurs after it's passed. And he was one of them. Unfortunately, he did not survive. This map shows tornadoes, the occurrence of tornadoes in our service area. From Fort Pierce all the way down to Dania Beach. Within the past 12 years. You think we're a little bit busy? We are top 5. We are in the top 5 of tornado occurrences in the country. Yeah, I heard that. Somebody just said, what? The difference is that ours are not as severe and not as long-lived. But this is the damage that they can do. In 2016, in February, Broward College, right down the street, North Campus, about 10 miles away from us, a little bit more west, a little bit more south, tornado. What you see in the top right and the bottom left, those are on the college campus. Just east of that is the turnpike. That's the vehicle that turned over. And just north of it, that building, the bottom right, that's the condo that's just north of it, the condo community with the roof peeling off. We were watching that cell, and had it jogged just a little bit more north and a little bit more east, it would have been on this campus. So when there are tornado warnings, you need to take them seriously. How many of you have the government alerts feature activated on your phone? You all need to have the government alerts feature activated on your phone. Look up how to do it because it differs from phone to phone. This will be able to, especially for tornado warnings because they're so short-lived, you will be able to receive those National Weather Service alerts for the tornadoes, because once they see that rotation in the atmosphere or they have someone call in and say there is a tornado, they draw a polygon around the map, they send a blast message, and it hits every single cell tower in that area. So you need to activate this. So you need to download the Already app. So far you have homework. Download the Already app and activate the government alerts feature on your phone. Like I said, and Chief Bremer said it, how many of you will be out attending our home games? Home football games. When we suspend for lightning, we need you to get undercover, to get indoors. You will be given directions. You need to heed them. Hurricane season. We're smack dab in, coming up to the peak of it. Hurricane season is 6 months out of the year here. And it really wasn't just 6 months out of the year, it was more than that. Because you see, Alberto, he didn't wait for hurricane season. He came a week before. So sometimes it's more than 6 months out of the year. And the peak, we haven't even gotten to it yet. So when it comes to hurricane season, this is what we do as far as university actions and decision making. I want you to understand this because a lot of times we hear, well, when is the university going to cancel classes? And when are we going to do this? And when are we going to do that? There's a lot of coordination and information gathering that we have to do to be able to make those decisions. We fall in 3 counties, 6 cities, 2 National Weather Service areas. We have the state National Hurricane Center. So we're on calls. We're watching it. Sometimes, especially for Irma last year, we were watching Irma about a week and a half before Irma came, which was on September 10th, by the way, peak of hurricane season. So we provide all this information to the decision makers, and in addition to what everybody else is doing, what are the school districts doing? What are other higher ed institutions in the area doing? What is everyone doing? And then they make the decisions. Okay? Resident students especially. Let me see hands again, all resident students in the house. You want to work with your RAs or area head office on your emergency plans, including what your evacuation plan is going to be, and if you need accommodation assistance. Your emergency plan needs to include you, any service animal in your care, what are you going to be doing with your car, if you have one, and if you need to have any emergency kits or for sheltering at a local shelter, you're traveling or you're staying with friends. Always, always, always have a family communication plan. And check in with your parents, please, every so often. Let them know that you're alive. Let them know that you're well. I can tell you, FAU PD they do a lot of safety checks because your parents can't get in touch with you sometimes. But always make sure you have that family communication plan. If something happens on any of our campuses, who do you need to contact, and then who do they need to contact on your behalf? When you're preparing your room before a hurricane, make sure that you cover all of your valuables in plastic, storing them off the floor should there be flooding, closing the windows, the blinds, etc. You have a lot of procedures. Check with your area head office, check with your RAs. And make sure that you always have emergency kits with basic supplies. This is for the parents as well. Make sure, I know there aren't any parents in this room, but I know that they're watching and it's live stream. Coping and managing emotions. This is where, if there is an emergency and you find yourself panicking, you want to encourage safe talk. You want to keep calm. You want to breathe. Okay, there's a type of breathing called diaphragmatic breathing. It's shown neuroscientifically to be able to calm. All right? Learn coping mechanisms, because sometimes sheltering in place may take a long time. Parents, you are also involved. I know that it's live streaming. Develop those emergency plans with your students and really, just be involved. Everyone should be OWL ready. You are now part of our community. You're the eyes, you're the ears. You also need to take personal responsibility for your safety as well. And pay attention, and when you see something, are you all ready? Are you more all ready than when I came in here? Are you more all ready than when I came in here? Do you pledge to be all ready as you move through your time with us? Enjoy your time. Welcome to FAU.
Hello. How are you doing? When you see a person walk on stage with shirts, that's when you start screaming, go crazy. You guys over here? Anyone? I don't know. Middle section, let's hear it. You're not ready. Is that guy flexing on me? Stand up. Go ahead, show us. All right, we'll work on that. Hello, everyone. My name is Ryan Moran. I'm the Assistant Director of Marketing for Athletics. Welcome to FAU. You did it. You're here. Now, here's my question. You guys ready for this season? Folks, there's never been a better time to be at FAU. Our football team is ranked in the top 25 in multiple polls. That's in the country, top 25 in the country. We have the best running back in the country. And we're gonna win a lot of games this year, but we need you out there with us. Here's a fun fact. We also have 21 intercollegiate athletic sports here at FAU. Did you know that? Basketball, baseball, soccer, volleyball, all kinds of sports. And guess what? You get into every single one of them for free. No price at all. Who here knows when our first event in the stadium is? Wrong. Tonight. Who do we play? We play the University of Miami in women's soccer tonight in the stadium. If you got plans, cut them. You ask, you shall receive. Congrats, sir. And guess what? You get into that game for free. This season, this year, we have 150 different athletic events on campus, and you get into all of them for free. So there's no excuse. You got to be at these games supporting these teams. Now, when is our first football game? Okay, so technically it's September 1st. We play Oklahoma at Oklahoma. When's our first home game? September 8th. You said the 9th. That's wrong. You can't. We need all of you there. This team, they've been working hard for you. They're gonna win a lot of games this year. We've returned a lot of players from that conference championship team last year. It's gonna be a fun season, but it starts with you guys coming out to games, supporting this team, because this is when traditions are made. When we start winning, when we start, showing the world what FAU is all about, that's when those traditions really start to take root. So you guys ready for this season? You proud to be an Owl? Then all I got to do is throw more t-shirts out. Thank you so much.
Good afternoon, everybody. Unfortunately, I don't have any t-shirts. Well, you got to go to the games. That's where you'll get some more. We are doing a freshman walk the day before the first, actually the day of the first home game. So you will be able to get a t-shirt by participating in that freshman walk. The first home game, I believe, is September the 8th. So make sure you're at that first home game and you can make sure you get yourself the t-shirt. My name is Dr. Larry Fairman. I serve as your Dean of Students. I spoke to many of you at orientation, so you should already know my face. Hopefully you know where our office is. We're located on the second floor of the Breezeway, right above Starbucks. So, we talked to you a little bit about safety. We talked to you a little about campus life, and now we're going to talk to you a little bit about your academic success. At FAU, you have a success network. It's comprised of your financial aid counselor, your career counselor, your academic advisor. If you're a part of the mentoring program, if you're living on campus, your RAs, your residence education coordinators, and a number of other people that comprise your academic success network. We already mentioned your parents and families who may be here participating in the Parent Success Conference. It takes everybody to get our students through FAU. And nothing makes us happier than when you cross this stage in 2, 3, or 4 years. All right, so I know we have members of the class of 19 in here, the class of 20, the class of 21, but most of you are probably in the class of 22, right? I want to welcome our Honors College students that are here from Jupiter. They are part of our freshman class. So while we don't see you often here at Boca Raton, we are thrilled that you're here with us. Before you come tomorrow to Leaders Get Jobs, please print out or have on your phone your course schedule for the semester so that when we do the tours following Leaders Get Jobs, you'll know what you're looking for. Make sure the course schedule that you download is the one that lists the classrooms, because you have a few different schedules that post. All right, so now if you haven't already done so, please take out and silence your cell phones. As you're silencing your cell phones, I'm going to ask the folks in the tech booth to please put up Jess's, she's got some Instagram. Please follow her on Instagram on the screen, because at the end of her talk, she's going to pick 2 lucky winners to receive a headband. So we're going to hear from Jess Ekstrom. Jess started her company, Headbands of Hope, out of her residence hall room in college. For every headband sold, one is given to a child with cancer. She's been featured on the Today Show, Good Morning America, BuzzFeed, Vanity Fair, and more. Some of her career highlights have been hosting proms at children's hospitals, being dubbed the, quote, ultimate game changer by Women's Health magazine, donating headbands to every children's hospital in America and 15 countries, making it onto CNN when she finished the Krispy Kreme challenge, which for those of you who don't know, that's where you eat a dozen donuts and then run 5 miles. You can potentially take the Dunkin' Donuts challenge in the library if you want to eat a dozen Dunkin' Donuts and then run 5 miles. And then teaching her dog to sit, stay, and shake. So please get ready because her energy is contagious. And join me in welcoming to the stage, Jess Ekstrom.
All right, how we doing? Good. I'm so excited to be here. Before we get talking about your dreams, I want to fulfill one of mine. So we're going to do a video. Have you guys done the wave before? Yeah? So we're going to start over here. We're going to do the wave. And if I'm satisfied, then I will tell you an embarrassing story about my first week of college. How does that sound? Good? Okay, so on the count of 3, we're going to start over here and we're going to do the wave. We're going to get on video. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Here we go. Wave. Keep going, keep going. All right, that didn't really work. So let's just do a huge, what do you guys do? Let's just do a big cheer. All right, ready? 3, 2, 1, let's go. Yes. All right, we'll work on the wave later, but that was good enough. I'm gonna tell you an embarrassing story about college. So when I got there, I'm like a big bargain shopper. I love looking for deals. So I'm sure you guys have gotten coupons for like some local places around here. So I was getting all these coupons, and one of them was for $50 off your next ambulance ride. And I was like, that's an interesting coupon. But I put it in my coupon drawer. I'm like, you never know. So then I'm playing intramural flag football. And I'm like competitive to like the point of a flaw. Is anyone here gonna do intramurals? Or play sports? Okay. So I'm working on it. And I was playing wide receiver. I was running out for a pass. I thought I was gonna catch it. I was almost in the end zone. And then this guy on the other team just decks me, and I'm out cold. It was co-ed teams. And it was this huge intramural field, and they had to stop all the games that were going on because I was going in and out of consciousness laying there. And then I just remember like the sirens started coming, and my friends were like crying, and they were calling my parents and telling them what happened. And I'm being like loaded onto a stretcher in front of everyone. And when I was getting onto the stretcher and they were loading me into the ambulance, I was like, you guys, come closer. Because you're allowed to be dramatic when you're getting into an ambulance, in case you didn't know that. My friends come up to it and they're like, what is it? What do you need? I'm like, bring my coupon. But I absolutely loved college, and I'm so excited to be here for you guys at the beginning of your experience. So a couple things about me before we get started. When I was in college, one time I was interning at the Today Show in New York, and at one point I touched Channing Tatum's left shoulder. It was a really special moment. Thank you for those who appreciated it. I also can't cook at all. Like Pinterest is just dreaming for me. I'll find, a cute little pancake. I'm like, I could make this for a little Sunday brunch. And then it turns out looking something like this. Like, can anyone relate? But the thing is, I can relate a lot to this pancake. Right? Because on social media, we're all this pancake. We're all just living our best life. We have the perfect relationships. We're getting straight A's. We sip a green juice every morning and we go to yoga. But in reality, a lot of us are just doing our best. And sometimes it doesn't work out as planned. But the thing that I've learned is the more pancakes that I make, the greater my chances are that I'll make a good one. So I like to call this the dartboard theory. It's this like mindset that I've adopted over the past few years where if there is something that I want to do, if there's something that I want, if I just relentlessly pursue it at all angles without being worried about being perfect, I can probably get there. So the first time that I ever adopted this dartboard mentality was when I was in 6th grade, and that was when eBay was a thing. So I remember I was like, this is amazing. I can buy and sell things from the comfort of my own home. Has anyone ever used eBay before? No, probably not. Okay, so then it was cool. So I went in my linen closet, my mom's linen closet. I got a white sheet, and then I borrowed her digital camera, and I started taking product photos of everything I owned, from lunch boxes to like used coloring books to whatever it is that I had in my closet. I was just putting it up on eBay. I was like, I don't know what people want. They might want this. So one day I walked downstairs before I caught the bus to go to 6th grade, and I wanted to check my bids like any normal 6th grader would. And I had hit the jackpot. Someone out there in Idaho bought My American Girl dolls for $100. I know. At that point, I was like, how does retirement work? Because I feel like I'm getting there. And they probably bid so high because I showcased them using all their unique skill sets. But the thing is like a lot of times we can really overcomplicate like how we can get to our dreams and the things that we want. But in reality is we just have to keep throwing darts. So there was this girl, Jenny, that I met one time, and she loved Chinese food. And so she wanted to send a text out to people and was like, all right, everyone come get Chinese food at my place. And then she looked for the dumpling emoji, and she couldn't find it. Right? I know, it's baffling. She's like, how can there not be a dumpling emoji? Dumplings are an integral part of our food system. There should be a dumpling emoji, and she was really lit up about this. So she started a petition for the dumpling emoji. She wrote essays on the historical significance of the dumpling. Ladies and gentlemen, not only did she get the dumpling emoji, which you will find in the newest update of your phone, she got sashimi, the bowl of noodles, and the Chinese takeout box. I mean, come on. That's pretty impressive. And I'm about to blow your minds right now. Jenny now sits on the board of emoji and oversees all food-related emoji decisions. I'm just gonna leave that right there. That's a job. You could have that job. But the thing is all of this isn't about the complexity of our ideas and our dreams. It's just about create what you wish existed. What do you wish was out there? And this doesn't have to be an emoji or a company that you'll hear about. It can be anything from a club that you want to do on campus, from, a study group, a trip. Just create what you wish existed. And that's how we can really start providing value to the world, is wondering what it would be like if maybe we did something about it. I like to call it inspiration from frustration. Next time you're mad or something, or wish something was there, don't just get mad. Get inspired to do something about it. So when I first got to school, I was really eager to get my feet wet with experience, and I saw this ad for the Disney College program. I was like, hey, Disney sounds cool. So, maybe not as cool to the people who live in Florida. I'm from North Carolina, so Disney was a cool thing. So I packed my bags, and I went to Disney World. And when I was there, I was a PhotoPass photographer. Do you guys know what those are? Like those really obnoxiously happy people that want to take your picture all the time. That was me. And I loved it. It was so much fun. It really got my college years started off right, because sometimes we can be told, or we think that we have to know exactly what we want to do before we start getting experience. But as you'll see, this decision to go to Disney World my freshman year completely changed the rest of my life. So when I was there, I got, my favorite thing that I got to do was I got to photograph kids that were there on their wish through the Make-A-Wish Foundation. Does anyone know about Make-A-Wish? So Make-A-Wish grants wishes to kids with life-threatening illnesses. So going to Disney World was their most popular wish. And so when I got back to school my sophomore year, I really wanted to intern at Make-A-Wish. So I contacted the Make-A-Wish office in Charlotte, where I was from, asked if they had any internships. They said no. But I told them, I was like, I want to do this, so I will, if you let me show up Monday through Friday, I will create an internship program for you that you can use. And they were like, okay. So I showed up every day and I did anything that they needed. I was like going on like coffee runs. I was cold calling people to donate. I was licking envelopes. I wasn't really doing any of the glamorous stuff. But it was the first time in my life where it didn't matter what I was doing because I was so clearly connected to why I was doing it. Every single thing I did, no matter how tedious or how boring it was helping Make-A-Wish come true. And it was the first time in my life where I was like, maybe our lives and the careers that we choose for ourselves doesn't have to be something where we clock in and clock out, get a paycheck every couple weeks. It can be something when we show up, when our alarm goes off for work, we know that it matters that we're there. We know that everything we do is leading up to something greater than ourselves. So at the end of my internship, I kind of proved myself. So they gave me a little bit more responsibility. They let me head up a wish for this girl whose name was Renee. She was 4 years old, and she wished to go to Disney World to meet Sleeping Beauty. But she was very specific about the Sleeping Beauty part. It was not just Disney World, it was Sleeping Beauty. So I planned this whole princess theme party with her and her friends before she was supposed to go on her wish. I helped plan the itinerary and made sure that Sleeping Beauty was incorporated whenever possible. And it was about a week before she was scheduled to go on her wish, and she had had a brain tumor. They had tried this new treatment on her that they thought had been working. And then she had a doctor's appointment, and they did some scans, and they realized that it hadn't, and that her tumors had only grown, and that she was too sick to go on her wish. She couldn't fly, she couldn't drive that far. And the craziest part about it was that they just sent her home to focus on quality of life. And I remember being in the office that day and just watching this unfold in front of me and thinking to myself, like, this can't be the story. This can't happen. And just in a reactionary moment, I just went onto Google and found a local costume shop. And then I arrived on her doorstep dressed as Sleeping Beauty and made her wish come true that day. And I brought her a matching dress and a crown that said Princess Renee and read her the story of Sleeping Beauty. I spent the whole day with her and her family in character. And she totally bought it. And it was the clearest before and after moment of my life. And I was not far off from where a lot of you are sitting today. I was a sophomore in college, and it changed everything that I thought I knew about myself, everything that I thought was important, all the problems I thought I had. It was like I had been working, on a painting my whole life, and someone just handed me a new canvas. But the one thing I was sure about was I knew that I wanted to do something. I wanted to do something that was bigger than myself. I wanted to provide meaning to the world. And I realized that girls like Renee, who would lose their hair to chemotherapy, loved to wear headbands after hair loss. So many of them would be offered a wig, or they'd be given a hat. And a lot of them didn't care about covering up their heads. They weren't ashamed of it. They just wanted something that they could restore their self-confidence after hair loss. So headbands were the perfect way to do that. So this was like my moment of inspiration. I hate calling it like an aha moment because I think sometimes the conception is like we have this moment of clarity, like the clouds part, and, angels start singing, you're like, yes! But I think of inspiration as like a rubber balloon, like a deflated balloon where you see it and you know that it could be something bigger. You know it could be more than what it is. But you have to make a choice of whether it's just a deflated balloon or if you're going to breathe life into it and make it something else. Because sometimes I think we're too quick to think of inspiration as our moments of success. But our ideas mean nothing without action. Because the reality is over 72% of people have creative insight in the shower. Like we've all been taking a shower and thought of something differently or maybe thought of an idea. But the difference is the people who get out, drive themselves off and figure out, how can I make this work? What can I start doing right now? It's not the people who know how to get from point A to point B. It's the ones who just say, I'm going to figure it out. And I decided, okay, I'm just going to figure this out. So I was a junior in college at this point, and I decided to create a company called Headbands of Hope. For every headband sold, we were going to donate one to a child with cancer. And I was studying communications, couldn't even spell entrepreneur. Still can't really spell it, I'm not going to lie to you guys. So I had no idea what I was doing. But I had the best case scenario because I was a college student. I think that a lot of times people ask me, how did I start this business when I was in college? Headbands of Hope is what it is today because I was a college student, not in spite of it. Because the minute that I didn't know how to create a business plan, or like, what are taxes? How does this work? I went over to the business school and they helped me with that. Or the minute I didn't know how to create a logo, I worked with graphic design students. When I didn't know how to create a website, I worked with computer design student every day for lunch for her to teach me Photoshop and Shopify, and I paid her in Chipotle burritos. I was literally burrito strapping my business. That was the thing. Because I had access to all these different areas of expertise while I was here. And so don't put yourself in a box for whatever you want your major to be or whatever, career that you want. Take advantage of everything FAU has to offer. So the last thing that I had to do was I had to find a manufacturer. Again, no idea what I was doing. I was like, I was directed to this website where you could find US factories. And I figured if I can find a factory that makes elastic, then they can probably make a headband. That was the top of my logic. That was the game plan. So I start throwing darts. I start emailing all these factories. I knew I didn't have the words right. I knew I didn't know what product specs were, minimum orders, and I knew I wasn't Nike, but I was just hoping that someone out there would take a chance on me. Someone would believe in what I was doing and want to work with me. And I got nothing for months. Finally, someone emailed me back. We got on a call. I told her what I wanted to do. She thought it was beautiful. She wanted to help me with my idea. She decided to work with me. I was euphoric. So for about 2 months, me and this factory, she would ship me samples. I'd look at them. I'd show my friends. I'd give her feedback and ship the samples back. That went on for about 2 months. Finally, she sent me a headband that I was good to go with. And I said, okay, let's do this. Let's start production. So she sends me the invoice. It's for $10,000. I was like, I probably should have asked this before. Would have been helpful. But to be honest, this sounds ridiculous, but I knew we were going to have to talk pricing eventually, but I was just so excited that someone was talking to me, I didn't want to kill the vibe. This sounds ridiculous when I say it, and I get it, but that's just where I was at the time. So I was like, this is a problem. That's about $9,500 more than I have in my bank account. So I went to my dad, who's also an entrepreneur, to get his advice. I was like, should I get a loan from the bank, pay interest on this, or should I get an investor, give away equity of my company? What should I do here? And he was like, look, I've seen your business plan. I've sat in on some of your meetings. I think this is going to be something. I will front you the $10,000. You can pay me back when the business starts to make money. Yeah. It was not like, let me just paint this picture. It was like, I love my dad, and don't get me wrong, but growing up, it was never like, oh, you want a pony? You get a pony. It was never that way. And he always wanted us to work for whatever we had. So this was huge for me. And I didn't have to give away anything of my company. So I ran to the bank. I ran to Wells Fargo. It was a Friday afternoon. I wanted them to get the money so they could start production over the weekend. Wired her $10,000. I never heard from her again. Exactly. My feelings are the same. But I felt like all of the things that were in my head, all of the things that I told myself, that I was too young, that I was too inexperienced, that I shouldn't be here, that moment was the stamp of validation. That was like, you're right. You shouldn't be here. And then I just had I had this moment where I was like, maybe this is the sign from the universe that's telling me that I'm not qualified, that I should just sweep this under the rug and start applying for jobs like all my friends. And then I went to bed that night, and luckily, my dad, he wasn't totally blaming me, but he was pissed. Like, it was not good. But we went to court, all this stuff, nothing ever happened. And then I went to bed that night, and I realized, you know what? This is my choice. If this is a dead end or a U-turn. Because we can't sometimes control the things that happen to us. We can't control our peers, we can't control our environment, but we can choose the way that we respond and the meaning that we give to it. Because sometimes when we have a dream, when we have something we want to do, you put in a destination on the map. It gives you one way to get there. This is the way that you have to do, this is what you have to do, this is the easiest way, this is the way it's always been done. But in reality, there's always going to be another way. Even if there's more traffic, even if it's longer, even if you have to do a lap around the world in order to get there, there is going to be another way. And I realized that this moment right here, it could either be the validation that I was not qualified, or it could be the test to show how strong I was. And at that point, I realized this is not about the embarrassment of failure. This is not about saving face. This business was started because of a problem. I was creating what I wish existed. There was a problem. There was a need that wasn't being met by anyone. So forget the failure of a business. This is a problem not being solved. And so the next day, I went to the entrepreneurship school. They were giving out $300 grants to students who were starting businesses. I got $300, bought 2 SKUs of headbands from some supplier in Bismarck, North Dakota, and then I grew my business from there. And since then, I've been on the Today Show, Vanity Fair. We were on The View a few months ago, Good Morning America 3 times. We're even a headband provider for the NBA. And even some celebrities have worn our headbands, like Leah Michelle, Lauren Conrad, Whitney Port, Chrissy Teigen, even the Kardashians, which I haven't decided how I feel about that. But that's a thing. But my favorite thing is what we've been able to do as a result of that. We've hosted proms at children's hospitals for kids who can't go to prom. We've even hosted these DIY headband days where the kids can design and create their own headbands, so they're getting their hands dirty and doing art therapy with our mission. And we've donated headbands to every single children's hospital in America in 15 countries. And I've paid my dad back. But the thing is, if I didn't care about the end result, failures would legitimize quitting. If I didn't believe so much in what would happen at the end of all this, that would have been a good enough reason to throw in the towel. Because I think we're really quick to accredit success to skill. The people who are successful are the people who know the most. But, the Wright brothers were the first to fly, and before that they had a printing business. They didn't know anything about flying. They just were the first to say, I'm going to figure this out. They had the confidence to do it. And I've interviewed over 100 entrepreneurs, Olympic athletes, musicians, anyone who's made it. They all have stories like this. They all have their $10,000 story or something worse. That's not an isolated incident. But the difference between people who throw in the towel when times get hard and the ones that don't is their belief in what could be. What would happen if it all worked out? What would happen when you get that diploma? What would happen when you get that job or go on that trip? And if your vision is compelling enough, there will never be anything that can stop you from doing that. So remember the balloon being our ideas and our inspiration? Consider this dog being all of our doubts and all of our fears, popping all of our balloons. Come on, this is funny, right? It's a dog. But maybe I just think it's funny. So we can't let other people get in our heads. We can't let anyone else or any outside circumstances tell us if we're qualified or not. That starts with us. So I'll give you an example. Recently, I started to do yoga. I'm not flexible at all, hence yoga. So my friend took me to this like really fancy studio. They give you like the lemon lavender towels and you like cross a Zen garden or whatever. And I was trying really hard. And then after the class, the instructor was standing outside, and every single person that walked out of the class, she would give a compliment to. So someone would walk out and she'd be like, "You are so strong." And then the next person would walk out and she'd be like, "Great downward dog." And then the next person would walk out and she's like, "It was like a dance, the way that you moved." And then I walked out and she was like, "Thanks for coming." And I was like, "Are you kidding me? I almost touched my toes. Did you not see that?" Like, I was so upset about this. I got in my car. I was like, forget yoga. I'm never doing this again. I'm obviously terrible at this. Like, this is stupid. But then, I did my breathing, whatever they tell you to do in class. And I realized that she does not have control over what I tell myself. Only I do. We cannot give other people the power to control our life, because the biggest things that will ever happen to us come from what we tell ourselves that we can do. And if you want help clapping back at that voice in your head, I have a list of things that I replace. Whenever anything negative comes in my head, we have to twist it. We have to replace our limiting beliefs with possibility. And you know who's really good at this, that's been inspiring me recently? Cauliflower. Right? No? So cauliflower, if it wants to be a pizza, it can be a pizza. If it wants to be mashed potatoes, you go be mashed potatoes. If it wants to be buffalo bites, has anyone tried cauliflower buffalo bites? Yes, it can. What if we had that same kind of confidence as cauliflower? Are we still there? We good? Yeah. So what are the things that we want to do, and how can we get there? So one of my friends, she has this kind of confidence. Her name is Laura. She studied abroad when she was in college, and the place where she studied abroad, it was really normal to eat bugs. Has anyone ever eaten a bug before on purpose? Cool. So when she came back to school, she was like, I want to normalize eating bugs in America. So she created a chip made of ground cricket powder, called them Chirps. They're really good. I tried the barbecue flavor. And she was looking for an investor to fund her business. So she was connected with this environmental investor, and she thought, this guy is perfect. He's exactly what I need. He cares about the environment. It's a great match. So she goes and she gives her pitch. She hands him the chips, and she does it in her bug costume. And then she goes, "Bug appetit." And he goes, "I've been an investor for 15 years. And this is the worst idea I've ever heard in my life. Laura's Chirps are now sold in Disney World parks. And she just struck a deal with Mark Cuban on Shark Tank. So eat that." And then one time, I was feeling kind of down about my company. A contract fell through. My mom forwarded me an article from the founders of Airbnb. They had released all of their early stage investor emails. They copied and pasted them into an email. And it was rejections left and right. People were like, "This is creepy. No one's gonna wanna stay in someone else's home. You guys are smart kids. When you have another idea, let me know." So this was around 2008 during the Obama election. And so they decided to create custom cereal boxes with Obama's face on them, called them Obama-O's, then went to Costco, got huge bags of cereal, filled their custom cereal boxes, sold them for $40 a box, made $20,000 selling cereal. That's the money they used to start Airbnb because no one would invest in their idea. But I gotta tell you, one of my favorite Hail Mary moments when you just go for it is one that's closer to home. About a year ago, we got a letter to our headquarters in Raleigh from my grandpa, who actually lives a few miles away from here. And it said, "Dear Headbands of Hope CEO," it's me, "I would like the opportunity to model in one of your upcoming shoots. Please see my portfolio attached." And I'm still gonna use these one day. I don't quite know how, and if you want more context about my grandpa, he also has this letter framed on his wall when he played croquet and he got kicked out of the friendship tournament for inappropriate behavior. That is my grandpa. I'm like, "Grandpa, how do you get kicked out of a friendship tournament? That doesn't happen." But anyways, so I feel like when I started Headbands of Hope, that mission was so clear. Everything I did, I could have a straight shot into why I was doing it. But then things got bigger. All of a sudden, we were on these television shows, and all of a sudden I was doing all this press, and all of a sudden I had a staff, and things got heavy, and things got blurred for me. And I remember I was going to this trade show in Atlanta, and it was a lot of money, and I'd ordered these tags to go along with the headbands, because from stores from around the world come in, they pick their product. These tags hadn't arrived. It was one of those things that just kind of sent me into a spiral. I was freaking out about these tags. Rewind about a week before, I was at UNC Children's Hospital. I met this girl named Taylor. She picked out this purple and green headband, and she even had a little hair left on the top of her head, so we dyed it into a mohawk, which I thought was boss. And she told me she was feeling kind of down, she was seeing on social media all of her friends were getting asked out to prom, and prom wasn't in the works for her. She had been in the hospital for 2 years at that point. So I said, "You know what, I'm gonna go to Atlanta, and then I'll come back here, and we'll have our own prom. We'll get dressed up, we'll take pictures, we'll listen to music, it'll be fun." So she adds me on Facebook, and we're chatting about when we're gonna do it, and what room she's gonna be in. I am in Atlanta, on the phone with this tag company, losing it, and I get call waiting from an unknown number. And I'll be honest, I remember thinking to myself, "Is this another sales call? Who's calling me right now? I am in the middle of this." I switch over the line, I'm like, "Hello?" And it was Taylor's mom. And she was calling to tell me that Taylor had passed away. She wanted those same purple and green headbands for every female in her family to wear to her service the next day. And it was this moment where I just felt like everything had been moving in fast forward, and someone just hit the pause button for me. And it was something that I should have hit myself. I kept thinking, well, once I can get on a big network television show, I feel like I've done something. Or once I can get on the cover of a magazine, or once I can get on that 30 under 30 list, or once I can do $1 million in revenue, or once I can hire staff, once I can give a TED Talk. And I started setting my calendar date for happiness. I would think, once this happens, then I'm gonna feel it. All those things happened. Every single one of them. And then they came and went. And finally, with a lot of soul searching, I realized that I was confusing my achievements with my alignment. Achievements are these tangible milestones. Maybe you get an award, maybe you get a job, maybe you get an internship, maybe a grade. They're great. They deserve to be celebrated, but the achievements, these tangible things, are not our final destination. Alignment is all these purposeful efforts that sum up to something greater than ourselves. It's not just about throwing darts. It's about why we're throwing darts. And we have to remember that behind every transaction, behind every touch point in our life, there's a story. Behind everything we do, maybe it's the person who swiped your card coming in here. Maybe it's a new roommate that you have. Whatever it is, there are stories behind everything that we do, but when we're so focused on the logistics and the details and the achievements, we miss that. So a lot of us, when we graduate, we want to do something meaningful. But I think that meaningful work is not assigned to you guys. It's created by you. Meaningful work is built on top of everything that you do, but it is up to you to do that. I'm going to give you an example. There was a study at Yale with hospital custodians. They interviewed a pool of people who were unhappy with their job. Then they interviewed a pool of people that were happy with their job. The ones that were unhappy, they asked them, what do you do every day? I clean the floors, I mop, I clean the sheets, I sanitize things. When asked what their job title was, I'm a janitor, I'm a custodian, I'm a maintenance person. Why do you do it? Have to pay the bills, have to support my family. And then the happy people, when asked what they did every day, one of them worked in hospice, and she would change the artwork from room to room every day because she wanted them to have something different to look at. The other person would have a notepad and tallied visitors, who got visitors, and make sure to make it a point to visit the rooms that didn't get visitors. When asked what their job title was, one of them described herself as a healer. The other one described herself as an ambassador of the hospital. All of them had the same jobs. Some chose to apply meaning, and some just did the assigned work. So the question that you can start asking yourself is, who do you serve? Think about after graduation. Think about what you want to do. Think about right now. Who do you want to serve in this world? Not your job, not your salary, but what do you want to make different? And how can we do that better? But in order for us to do that, sometimes we just have to dare greatly. We have to go for it. So my sister and I, we ran the mile run when we were together in elementary school, and she was like, Jess, if we can run a mile, maybe we can run 3. I was like, calm down. But then eventually, we ran a 5K together. Then she's like, if we can run a 5K, we could totally run a 10K. And I was like, all right, you're a little crazy, but we ran a 10K together. And then she was like, if we could run a 10K, we could totally do a half marathon. Anything with the word marathon in it scares me, but we ran a half marathon. And then she's like, you know what's coming next. If we can run a half, we could totally do a full. So we trained, we ran the Disney World full marathon. Then she was like, Jess, if we can run a marathon, 26.2 miles, we could totally run 50 miles. And I was like, this is where I leave you. Namaste, right here. And then my sister, little firecracker that she is, ran 100 miles straight. And look at her, she's still smiling like a crazy person. I'm like, what is wrong with you? She had a little tracking chip on her shoe and an app, and I'm like eating a burrito. I'm like, run, Heather, keep going. But the thing is, that 100-mile race is pretty cool, but it was not the most important race of her life. The most important race of her life was that first mile that she ever ran. Because that was the mile that told her, if I can run 1, then maybe I can run 2. But she would have never run 100 miles if she didn't one day run 1. And sometimes our dreams and the things that we want in this world can seem like a 100-mile race. But all it takes is just that first mile. So I want to give you a quote by my good friend, Will Ferrell. Yeah. Actually, we're not friends. I chased him down at a football game and begged him to take a picture with me. And then I was like, did we just become best friends? Anyone? What movie? Step Brothers, thank you. He pretended to laugh just like you guys did. And he said, but my fear of failure never approached in magnitude my fear of what if. What if I never tried at all? Yes. What if I never tried at all. Talladega. The thing is I would rather have mud on my shoes than see them clean in a closet, because failure will always feel better than regret. And now is your time to start throwing darts, to figure out what is that 100-mile race for you, and just go for it. Release any of those fears and doubts, because the pressure to be perfect is not changing. But how we perceive failure and what we do about it can. Because failure is not opposite of success. It's a part of it. And sometimes living these loud and vibrant and meaningful lives are supposed to be messy. So we might as well roll up our sleeves, make some pancakes. Thank you guys so much. You guys have been awesome. Thank you. Appreciate it.
All right, let's give it up one more time for Jess. All right, so right now we are about to dismiss you for your tracks. So if you are sitting on the floor, I need you to stay where you're at. No one on the floor, stand up. If you are seated next to the number 3, all over in this area, I need you all to stand and follow out the coaches with the sign. If I have not called your number yet, the number that you are standing by, please make sure you are still sitting. So only 3, 5, and 1 should be exiting. You all will be staying in here, so please do not stand up if you are anywhere on the floor. If you are in track 4, go ahead and follow out that numbered sign. If you're sitting on this right side of me, follow out number 4.